Introduce us all. Hey, girls, you want to say hi to everyone?
Hi.
This is Gina and Wanda. We're coming from Houston, Texas, and then we've got Miss Nancy and Marisol from LA.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
then we've got Miss Esme coming from Idaho. Hey, we're really super excited to join today, and it's our second show. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to watch Nancy and I's first show. Today we're super excited, 5 of us girls from the Sisterhood Connections coming together to talk about self-love. And we all know that this month being February, we celebrate Valentine's Day. We thought it would be special to talk about self-love since we always, recognize Valentine's Day as being more for couples and love and all of those expectations of what Valentine's means. And so today we really want to deliver a message to women out there about learning how to love yourself. And so I just want to kind of just start this conversation with, what does self-love mean to you? And Nancy, I would love to shine that light to you and you to start this. Like, what does self-love mean? And introduce yourself, please.
Awesome. Well, I'm Nancy Castro, and I'm we're in live from LA, so we're super excited. It's like bright and sunny and nice outside. So, funny that you asked that. Like I was mentioning earlier, I really had a heart-to-heart with myself. Like, honestly, like, what does self-love mean to me? And, when I was thinking about it, it was just so profound when I was like, it really does mean that. And, for me, it means embracing you, like your authentic you, not the you that you present to everybody else, but the you that you know in your heart that you are. And it's being able to see yourself in the mirror as a creation of excellence. Like when you look at yourself in the mirror, you're like, I'm a creation of excellence. Like I see virtues. Like I see my virtues instead of, oh, I have this and I have that. It's like just, that's like the immediate flow that it goes into. So that's like standing in your power and really knowing what you deserve and you accept nothing less. And that's like the first thing that just you see yourself and you embrace that all as a whole. So that's what self-love means to me.
That's a good one.
I know.
Yeah. What do you think? As you answered that, I was coming up with my own definition. To me, self-love means being in a state of happiness with yourself, right? So then I think, what makes me happy? What really ignites like my spirit and makes me just feel all around in a good space? That equals or defines self-love to me. But the actual definition is thinking about anything such as my passions, acting out activities, or doing different activities and bonding with different people, and just being able to be involved in a way that makes me feel happy. So whether it's being around friends, around family, making dinners, hiking, traveling, I feel a sense of happiness, and all around that part of me is fulfilled. So therefore, all of the other things that come with life and, your job, your extracurricular activities, everything else seems like it just is okay once your biggest pieces are fulfilled. Your family, your friends, your self-happiness equals self-love to me.
Awesome. Awesome. How about you, T?
Well, I think self-love, to me, self-love is flipping it, loving myself. And I walk in self-love by walking daily and doing what makes me happy, because I find that when you try to adjust your life to pleasing others, and no matter what that being your partner, your best friend, whomever, I think that's when you get off the track of self-love. So to me, self-love is walking in happiness for you, not for anybody else. Because going through life, there will be ups and downs, there will be, bumps, roadblocks, but it's all about you. Because when you get to those detours, to me, the question is, what is going to make you happy when you run into this? I walk daily in self-love, and it's all about what makes me happy. And I think when you can look at that as, like I said, flipping it, loving yourself first. Because if you don't love yourself first, you allow other things to pour into you, and that causes your unhappiness. So self-love is all about, you loving yourself and doing those things that make the YOU happy.
That's really, really good.
Yep, agreed.
How about you, Esme?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, guys. When I decided I was gonna do this, I thought, okay, so what do I need to do first? Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, I started Googling stuff. You know what I mean? and I realized that's part of what the problem was. That self-love is very hard to define sometimes. Self-love it's distinct to each and every individual, like based on how they choose to live their lives, or they choose to perceive what happiness is. Okay, so I think right now for me, self-love, it's been the hardest thing that I've ever had to conquer. Me as an individual. I thought I loved myself. And as I've been able to get in touch with myself just a little bit more, I realized that maybe I was lacking some of that self-love. But now, here we are, almost 2 years later, after I started out this little adventure and that type of thing. I'm sitting here at a Starbucks, okay, because, plans fell through or whatever, and it doesn't matter. I love myself so much that it doesn't matter if I make myself, I'm making a fool of myself in front of everybody and that type of thing, because I'm okay with it, and I love myself. That's what makes us me. So I think that to answer that question fully, self-love is loving who you are no matter how you are, because you want to be that way. That's what I think.
I love that. So for me, I think, one of my biggest lessons has been, if my cup isn't full, I don't have enough to give other people. And I know for me, in my journey right now, I've really just learned a lot, even about, we can say that we really love ourselves and that we take, we put ourselves first, but in so many ways, even as a woman, I know a lot of women don't. The real deal is, we're moms, we're wives, we're all of these things, and everyone else seems to come first. But I would like to change gears just a little bit and kind of talk a little bit about, Valentine's Day and all that pressure, because one of the biggest things, even if I'm coming from even just a friend or even coaching women, the expectations that are so, strong, high expectations just on even the opposite sex bringing flowers, or, comparing love, based on, oh, well, everyone gets flowers or gets all this stuff for Valentine's Day, and it really, being confused with really what the representation of real love is. And so, Nancy, I would love for you to kind of just share what you think with that, or even a past experience that you've had where, you've had expectations and what, with Valentine's Day.
Well, honestly, I think up until this year, I have to say, because every other year previous has been one of those things that it's like you start feeling the pressure like as soon as February 1st hits, because you go into a Target, into anything, and it's like hearts and chocolates and roses, and it's like this immediate thing of like, yeah, I'm not getting that. Like you start immediately going into that to make yourself feel better. And I think a lot of us women do that, where we're like, oh, who cares? Yeah, you do. Because if you didn't, then you wouldn't notice all these things there. And it's funny because now this year, like, it hasn't even fazed me, like, because like now I'm embracing it as like, yes, the self-love, but it's like looking at the love that I already have, like, around me, the friendships, the family, like things that I'm so grateful for, that it's completely shifted it. I haven't even seen anything at the stores. Like, it hasn't even caught my attention. which is crazy because any other time, that's like the first thing that I'm seeing everywhere, and I'm like, oh God, here we go. But I think one of the expectations, and you're right, is, you know, when you are in a relationship, you're already expecting, like, okay, what are we going to do? Oh my God, am I going to do this? Should I? Is it too much? Or I've only been seeing him, you know, for 2 months, or, you know, just all these things that it's like, why all this pressure? And there shouldn't be any expectations. It's not even about that. And so I think in that sense, for me, that's been the challenge. Previous years, I have to say, is that it has been more of like, I focus on what I didn't have, or what, you know, like you said, Jena, like, oh my God, this girl got a trip to, I don't know, Dubai, and I'm like, huh.
Nancy's ready with her passport, like, where are we going?
I'm like, so crickets, like, no. But no, I think this year it's just it's so different. Like, now I'm looking forward to it instead of like pushing it and like resisting it. Now I'm like allowing it to just happen, and I didn't even think about the day, but I was like, oh my God, that's right, it's coming up, because my focus isn't on like what I don't have.
It's true, and going off of that, it's one of those things where it's just society. It's you know, the norm. It's a holiday that is celebrated across America and other parts of the world. So it'll highlight sometimes the fact that you're single if you're single, or if you're in a relationship and you have expectations and they don't meet them, there's extra pressure. But I'm thinking about it, and it also comes back to like just an everyday question in general that people, strangers, friends, whoever, ask you sometimes. Why are you single? Something's wrong with you, or, you know, why? I don't understand why you're single. It does, like, if I get that question on a random July, you know, type of day, being out in the park, versus like Valentine's Day, to me it's the same. It's like, well, it just isn't there. It's not there yet. It'll come. It's not around and available just yet. So, you know, you just can't beat yourself up about it and let it, I feel like I can't let it affect me internally, and, you know, you got to have a sense of ease about it. Like, you know, I'll be ready for it when it presents itself and it's really meant for me. And if it's not, then guess what? It'll be another single Valentine's Day where I go and take myself out for a nice dinner, or grab some friends and we go do an activity, and it's like any other day.
Yep. Agreed.
That's some good stuff right there.
Esme, you want to be my date tonight?
Absolutely. Yeah. But you know what? I totally agree. Nancy, I don't know about you, but they start throwing out that Valentine stuff like, you know, like January 1st. You know what I mean? It's like, it's pathetic. I mean, you have like you have Christmas. I'm deciding between Christmas, or I should buy a heart, or I should buy, you know, a bunny. I mean, you know, it's just the way that things are set up anymore. You know what I mean? It's just, but I think that I can tell you personally that the best person that could buy me a Valentine's Day gift is myself. Honestly. You know, I know what I like, you know, and there is that expectation. You know, I've been divorced, and so I remember even when I was married, there was that expectation that, yeah, you had to give me something for Valentine's Day, and, you know, 9 out of 10 times, I wouldn't get anything, and then I'd be all but hurt. But, you know, the interesting part about it was that I knew I wasn't, or else I expected not to get anything, which is a little strange. But now, you know, it's changed. The same thing that, like you guys were saying, it's just another day. The way that I look at it is different. If it comes, great. If it's not, fine too.
And you are the best one to shop for yourself, because you just love shopping in general. So
true. Very true.
Can you guys hear us?
Yes, now we can.
Okay. T, you wanna chime in?
Well, for expectations, as far as for things like
you froze.
Is that when you don't put expectations into other people, you won't be disappointed. Therefore, I have learned to treat myself. So if I feel like I wanted chocolates, or I by myself, loving myself, and having a good time. So I've learned, as far as through expectations, lots of times when you put expectations and when you've had those disappointments, you learn to take someone, then you're not disappointed. So I take it day by day and live those days and take those days, and what if it didn't happen, then I can do, I'll do something for myself or whatever I feel.
Can you guys still hear us? I'm sorry, we're all just like cutting out a little bit.
You guys are cutting in and out.
Okay. So Nancy, do you have anything that you want to add?
You know what? Actually, I did, and Esme brought it up, which, like she said,
You're welcome.
When I was married, it was kind of the same thing where, you know what, when I first, like the first year and the second year, it was like exciting. It was fun because we had this thing about let's be creative, like not money wise or like dollar amount wise, but just be creative about what you want to give. And I remember I would get so like, at one time I did a love letter engraved in a glass, like in this glass statue thing. And it was from me to him. And, it was so special. And, that is when I could enjoy the actual like day, like Valentine's Day, because it wasn't about, well, how much did you spend on that? It wasn't even about that. It was the sentimental value. And, when I gave it to him, and then, when he did the same thing where, expecting, especially from a man, when you're like, oh, he's probably just going to get me X, Y, Z. And he didn't. He took the time to do, I think it was a frame of like all our pictures from like throughout the year, the previous year. And he like, created this collage. And it was such a beautiful thing that I was like, you know what, it doesn't matter how much it price-wise, what it costed him. It was a sentimental value that it brought, that we got to sit down and share like the memories and just looking at everything. And that's what it was about. We took the focus off of the expectation and more about the creativity of, when I give this gift to this person, what is my goal for them to feel? I want them to feel special. I want them to feel loved. And so that's when it takes it away from the norm of what you're expecting. So I think in that sense, the first couple years it was like that, and then after that it became like a chore. Like, oh God, now what do I have to get him? And it's not fun anymore at that point. You're just like, now you're just getting because it's Valentine's Day. Like, you're just like, I have to give it to you.
You should be like, honey, feel free to give me gifts throughout the year. Just surprise me.
Yeah, like on a Tuesday, right?
Exciting.
Seriously. But
yeah, I want more than just Valentine's Day. I want a Tuesday present, I want a Friday present.
Oh my gosh. No, but in that sense, it is all about like the expectations that are set, not even from like the outside, but from ourselves. Like, because I stepped it up year 1, I stepped it up year 2 where I got super creative. But by the 3rd year, I was so like this pressure on myself of like, I already did this and that. What's going to outbeat that? It wasn't even about him anymore. It was about me. Like, what can I do now better? And it was like, wait, that just took away everything.
The
like
fun part.
The fun part, the realness to it. Even as women, and I have to say, like with the whole self-love thing, even spending quality time with someone is like so valuable to me. When they get to sit down and they're in front of you really trying to connect with you, saying, like, so I, you like this, tell me a little bit more about it. And I think it creates this like immediate connection with someone that a gift will not do. They can get you something, a material thing, and give it to you, and there's really nothing to it. And I think for me, things have been evolving into more of the sentimental stuff that bring, if he knows I love traveling, then great, let's go on a trip. But doing something because the thing that it's going to create, what you want to give and provide, the feeling, the emotion versus anything else.
I have a question for you ladies, Jena and T. Has your expectation for Valentine's Day changed from this year versus the previous year? Let's just go back 2 years. 2 years ago, what was your expectation for Valentine's Day versus like today? Like, has there been a dramatic change?
So we're cutting out in and out, so hopefully I got all of your question, and that is if my expectations have changed over the years.
She cut out.
So she cut out. So Esme, tell us about your expectations from,
Well, okay. So my expectations when I was married, it was pretty interesting. Okay, I think that I didn't know what I expected. Isn't that awful? It was like I just expected, like what you said, just this amazing something that he would come up with and stuff, but not something that I had to put into his head in order to do it. It needed to come from him. But he wasn't that type of a person to begin with. So why was I expecting that? And for myself, over the years, you get those typical things, you see those typical things out in the stores and whatnot, so, your chocolates and your bears and all that kind of stuff. Guys, you know what? If somebody was to come home with one of those bears, I wouldn't even know what to do with the stupid thing. You know what I mean? So, if anything, it's like a dust cloud. It would bug me. It would bother me. So, but then I look at them and I'm like, oh, it would be so nice. I don't even understand myself, so why in the heck would I ever expect somebody else to understand where I'm coming from? Poor dude, man, really.
At least the effort is there, whether it's a bear, chocolate dinner, a walk on the beach, effort gets a huge, amount of credit.
You know what, and it's true. I think when it comes to like the sentimental stuff, Marisol just said right now, like, I would rather do a nice long walk on the beach. It didn't even cost you anything, but just a long walk on the beach, just talking and enjoying each other's presence versus getting like, a random bear or chocolate. It's like, I think now as I'm getting old, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or just because I'm more in tune with who I am, the value of things are becoming different. Like, instead of material things, it's more of like, the spending time with friends, the spending time with family, like it's becoming priceless moments. And so in that sense, I think, I don't know if it's just me or if, anybody else feels that way, but, I know a lot, of course, who wouldn't love like some amazing bag that you've been dreaming of, like, all your life, but at the same time, you're trying to understand, is it just, I'm going to give it to you and that's it? No, it's like we always want more. We always want, like, you didn't even put a little card on it. Something cute, It's like, what are you?
That is true.
Hey, welcome back, Jena and T.
Welcome back, ladies.
My gosh, this technology, I'm so sorry. So I don't know where I got cut off at. Changed in the sense of understanding what love is about, and it's not about all of the superficial things that Valentine's Day represents. And I think as I've aged, that's what I've learned, because I really can honestly say I've never really been a gifty person that in that sense, but now I think as I, have matured even in my own relationship with even my own self, just understanding what Valentine's Day is about, even about not even just couples, just about love, and the love that we show every day. How about you, T?
Well, I think I can.
You're good.
Well, we lost him again. It's okay. I just love that we're discussing this, guys, because we don't want it to necessarily seem like, oh, we're back. T,
we're back.
Continue.
As I said, I can kind of like piggyback off of Jena with a lot that she said, except for the gifty person. I am a gifty person because I'm a giver. I'm a giver. I'm very much so a giver, and I love receiving. So, in saying that, through the years, and I'm the one probably with the most years that we've been through things like this. I've learned not to expect, as I had said previously, and just take it for what it's worth, and taking the love portion of it, and the flowers, all that stuff, and just put more emphasis on your relationship, and enriching that in itself. But as I said, you need it and you missed it, go and get it for yourself. Nothing's wrong with that.
Yes.
I like it.
So you mentioned something, T. In an ideal world, I mean, you both have been married, T and G. I mean, you guys you have a partner. Would it, like, what would be your ideal? It's Valentine's Day. What would be your ideal day for you to spend with your partner? Like, I'm thinking me in the sense of, like, if I had a partner, what would be an ideal, like, thing that I would want to do? And I was thinking about it, like, even a difference from last year to this year. This year is, like, totally different. Like, I would probably rather spend that day, talking about how can we better the relationship, or like grow the love that we have for each other, instead of focusing on giving, like, giving something material, but more on, like, the emotional part of it, where it's like it's the day of love and all this great stuff, but you know what? It's like, besides the self-love and, like, me filling myself up, because the more I have for me, the more I can give and provide to him. And I think in that sense, I'm like, if my ideal day for that would be, spending some time that day at least talking about, what can we do for each other to grow that love and, to make it, work.
That's nice, Nancy, that you say that, because what it sounds like is that it would be like a check-in, like, hi, let's check in. How are we doing in relationships? How are you feeling? Are we on the right track? Are we a little disconnected? Like, let's just check in really quick, take a time out, and communicate, because I think everybody gets so busy with their life, their work. Some of these women have kids, and you got to check in on your relationship and get aligned again. So that's like a great day to just kind of come together to just talk. Not saying that you have to wait and only do it once a year, but make a serious effort. Obviously, that should be something that happens a lot more frequently, but good point.
So what would you ladies say?
Well, to answer your question, Nancy, as for me, like, with the one with the longest relationship, and but like you said, G and I both in relationship, we have partners. My thing is communication, like Marisol said, that's a big key. And then just knowing your partner, because as I tell my partner all the time, we can go to Burger King. Who said we had to go to a $70 or $100, $150 dinner a night? But it's all in the small things, and reading and knowing your partner. And I think when you get into those situations and you invest in each other, you learn those things, and you don't feel that pressure, like, oh God, like you had mentioned previously, Nancy. Be, like you said, a day just at home, just putting burgers on the grill or something like that. It's the quality time and the communication that means the most, that makes a strong relationship, be that male and female, female to female, as best friends. It's all about the communication and the investment that you put in. It's just like stock. What you put your investment in and you watch is what you're going to get the most out of.
What about you, Ms. Jena?
You know, I have to agree with her. I was laughing when she was saying part of that because something that means a lot to me, and it is the small things, like when they remember your most favorite thing. Like for me, and my partner's really good at this. He'll bring me, and it's something small, like raisins, my favorite candy, and the fact that they're paying attention to those subtle things, or drying me a bath and just saying, you know, I got this. It doesn't have to be like I like to do, what I like to, my favorite candies, whatever it may be, you know, but that's probably the most important. And I'm going to also agree with her on communication, because that is 100% key. And something that I found also for my experiences, you don't always have to agree, and it's okay that you don't agree, and respecting each other's boundaries, but being able to communicate effectively in a way that you can agree to disagree and love each other through that process. That's so important, and that definitely has come with age.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
It's a growing thing. But once you started, if you started within any relationship, once you start that communication line and that partner understand, all I need you to say is this, and this. I mean, don't go without and saying, oh, well, I thought. Because most of the times that's when you run into conflict. Don't ever assume I thought. No, communicate. That's what I need you to do. Communication is such a big key.
That seems to be like a huge challenge in every relationship across the board. I mean, it's never going to be perfect, but communication is definitely key.
Right.
What about your guys?
Everybody get comfortable, and that's what you have to not allow them to get comfortable.
Amen.
In a long relationship, guys, and I'm not going to say all guys, because there are some guys and some of my friends who are in relationship and their partners are on point. But you can't allow your partner to get comfortable. So if you're in a relationship and you're just starting it, nip it in the bud if they're not communicating. Because if you let it ride, I assure you your problems will arise. So, you know, I just think those things, and I'm one in a relationship with anybody, I'm not a tongue biter. Because if you hold things, they only grow. So in a relationship, I think you need to let those things be known that you like, and those things that you dislike, and especially the ones that you dislike, because it's going to be an uncomfortable thing for you and make you unhappy. And then I think that's when you come into not loving yourself and letting your mind talk you into, well, maybe it was me, or maybe I'm not worthy of it. So that's why I say communication is like G say, 100% key. It's so important.
Yeah.
What about you guys? I mean, what would be your ideal date?
Oh gosh, you know what? It's funny. Again, this is what we were talking about a little bit earlier, that it's changed over the years as far as what I think was more, what's important. I think typically what we expect is the things that we see in the movies, right? So, we expect that big expensive dinner. We expect, to be whisked away, different things, and that's not what it is. What it's all about. It is about what T was talking about. It's just communicating and having them understand what it is that you like. Okay, so if it is at Burger King, that's fine. But get what I want. You know what I mean? I want to be able to order what I want, and I want to be able to wear what I want. I don't want to have to, dress up, because I'm just not in the mood. And honestly, I haven't, been on a date for so long. I don't really know what to expect anymore, even when it goes to that part of things. As far as, what would be a good deal, I have no idea. I'll go with it. So if it happens sometime, it'll happen.
So he already knows what type of woman you are. I need you to tell him what
right.
you like, Esme.
That's right. I'm going to be like, okay, you're going to give me where's my passport? Where are we headed? What time's the flight? Okay?
You need to let him know you like to shop. You need to let him know you like to travel. He needs to know that up front. So, because he may not be able to afford you, Esme, so you may as well.
And you know what? He'll need to know that I'm not going to pack a bag. I'm not going to pack a bag because, yes, I am going to buy stuff when I get there. So you better figure it out.
Yeah.
Hey, you come with a disclaimer from the get-go.
That's right. Let me get me a tattoo. How about you, Marisol? What's your ideal?
Ideal day? I don't know. I mean, I mean, I feel like we've all kind of covered it, and I agree with everybody. And with your last response, Esme, a thought that came up for me is that I feel like guys and girls tend to get a little jaded. Like they feel like they shouldn't court, like females do not appreciate or hold value to that anymore. Like the generation now seems like the majority of people in the dating world are like too materialistic, and it's false. It's a false assumption because guys feel like they don't have to court women and do the little things. They feel like, and I know this because at least with my guy friends, we talk about these conversations, you know what I mean, and girls that they date. So we share with like an open field, like our perspectives, and we get their perspectives, we share ours, and we're like, a lot of times we're like, no, you have the wrong assumption. Like, it depends on the type of person you're dating. There are females out there that do appreciate the little things, and there's other females that don't, and they simply do want the flashy cars and the nice things. And don't get me wrong, a balance of both is nice.
Of course.
We're always going to appreciate nice things, but you really, when you strip it down, you really strip it down, what makes you happy, or at least me, is all those valuable, like, detail-oriented, sentimental, type of actions that, a man will do for me. You know what I mean? So simple things that don't even cost money. So if that's the foundation, and then later on they decide, I'm going to take her on a trip, doesn't matter what day, doesn't matter what location, letting them know that it does matter. You know what I mean? And they need to make an effort if they really want to see you as a potential partner, and somebody they want to date and see where it goes. Those are the important things to me. Maybe your last girlfriend didn't care about it, but guess what? That's not me.
T, you brought something up that you just mentioned earlier that it just brought something to mind when you said, when you have that self-love, you don't put, not that you don't put up, but you start, your self-worth starts kind of going down, like when you start giving in a little too much, like, you're in a relationship and when you don't have enough self-love, and this is something that I learned from Jena as being, a mentor in this, is like, you start letting go of the fears of things, and so like this layer falls off, this layer falls off, and then when you get to the point, and I say I am in it now, of self-love where I know that I will not accept anything less, but I'm not afraid that, what if I'm missing out on the next opportunity? I don't feel that way anymore, where now I can be honest and honor my true feelings about how I feel, about what I deserve and what I want. That's enough for me. And I'm okay if he can only give this much. It's okay. That's his journey and that's what he can do. But I love him anyway. But I have to also honor my own feelings and say, even though that's all you can give, I need more. And I'm okay walking away and keep going because I have enough self-love to be like, you know what? Thank you for your part in my journey, and I keep going. And I know a lot of women will stay stuck there, like, well, at least he does this, and it's like you start justifying why you should stay.
Absolutely.
I'm like, no, and so I have to say, you're right. When you get to the point now, and I say for myself, that I love myself and I embrace my uniqueness, it's so easy now for me to look at a situation, an experience, and say, this is what you can do, which is great, but this is what I want. And I'm going to keep going, and thank you. And I'm not, like, missing out on anything. I don't have that fear anymore of, I should just stay. What if I can't find somebody better? He's amazing. No, but I'm amazing. So you start forgetting kind of your own self-worth.
Right, and I think you're absolutely right, Nancy, and I think that is the problem with a lot of women. Or female to make them lower their standards. And like I have a 25 and 21-year-old, and I tell them, you don't lower your standards. If he can't meet in your way. So, like you said, thank you for being a part of my journey, but I'm sorry, but, you can't meet. And it's not like, oh, well, you're so expensive to take care of. No, it's not that. These are my standards. I'm sorry you can't meet them, but it's, your time is up. And it's so many women because, they're into this, my biological clock is ticking and all this. No, it's not about the clock. It's about you. Because when you settle, I promise you, if you lower those standards, you will be unhappy later on. I promise you. And, I know I have, for my girls, there's a high. And my dad tells me all the time, I don't know what man is going to be able to take care of them. Believe me, there is one, because I've taught them the best and given them the best. And it's even like my girls, if a guy comes to the house, I'm actually like a peeping Tom. If he doesn't open that door, he has a word from me. But so many people, that's too much. That is not too much. Women are just lowering the man should open the door for you. So my girls are very picky about, I don't do sagging pants. I don't do yes and no. People say that's too much. But if we don't have standards and morals for ourselves, we will allow anybody to take them away from us. So no, I think you're exactly right. No, you're here, and if he's there, well, like you said, his time card is up. It's time for him to move on. So you stick to that, and believe me, you will get Mr. High Roller. He'll be there. Because, and that's another thing I teach my girls. You're high rollers. So, yes, people might say that's arrogant and that's cocky. No, that's how I roll. That's how I'm going to roll. I'm not going to settle for the low roller. I'm the high roller. I want the best in life. I think I deserve the best because that's the type of God I serve. So, it's all in what you allow. If you choose to sell and say, well, no, he's, like you said, he's really good, and this, he really does well. Yeah, he does, but he's like 5 steps below, and he needs to move up a little higher, and clearly he can't afford me. So, and it's not being arrogant. A lot of people think that's being arrogant, and I don't think this is just my standard, and I'm not going to allow girlfriend, boyfriend, nobody to talk me into. Mr. Right will come. He will come. Stick to your standards.
Nice. What do you think, Jena?
Well, actually, I'm seeing it from all different perspectives. I totally agree with T, and just because I am woman, I can speak for girls, but I can see where, we've even, our younger generation has, dumbed themselves down to get the boy or whatever. And just like she said, I'm seeing, standards being lowered in more sense of coming from a different perspective, like lowering our own self-worth and feelings about ourselves, allowing the male or the other person to do that, which is interesting because how our talk today has taken all these different routes. It's kind of interesting hearing all the different perspectives. But I think personally, I believe and that believes it to be true. You speak it to be true. And like she said, we serve a high God, and what we want to be true in our life, we speak it to existence. We don't have to prove it to anyone, just our own self. But what I would like, because I know we're getting close to the end, and I'm not sure if we can take on any questions, but I do think it's important that we really, all of us in our different journeys that we've had, we all have had, our experience through self-love or lack of, because I can tell you I have had a lot of lack of self-love. And I would love for us to really just deliver a really good message. One thing, if you could give one thing to our viewers today about something that's really helped you. And I'll start, and then Nancy, I'm going to pass it to you. But the one thing for me is, especially, you know, learning how powerful words are and what we speak comes to you know, truth and in our reality, and that is, words are so powerful. And so not necessarily just like the affirmations, because you guys know I did a year of those affirmations, and a lot of that was really for me to empower my own self and really ingest all of those words. But really it's about when you start speaking those powerful words to your own self, maybe at first you don't believe it or you don't buy into it, but slowly but surely it feels amazing. So I'm going to challenge everyone today, just put your hand over your heart right now. And you know, even at first I would do that, and it's like, feels kind of awkward, but the more you do, it's like, I am amazing. And real quick before I pass to you, Nancy, just because I and we have a lot of differences, let's just say. He's 10 years younger than me. He's black, I'm white. We have all these differences. And when we were first dating, actually we were even just friends, not even dating yet. I had people like questioning, like, why would he, you know, want to be with you, something, you know, on those lines. And not that there's anything wrong with me, but I think they were more referring to like the age and stuff. And then I can honestly self and everything. But I can say today, I had a conversation with someone last week about it, and I was like, he's with me because I'm amazing and I deserve him. And guess what? He's amazing too, and we deserve each other. But you know what? It felt good for the first time ever. And I don't even know why I just decided to share that. It just popped up, so someone must need to hear it. But really, truly, I can say then, didn't have that sort of love for my own self or seeing it from that way. So that feels really good. And today I hope someone walks away with even just a little bit more of that self-love. So Nancy, I'm going to just push all of that. What's that one thing that you can give to our audience?
The one thing, pressure is on. You know what? I think one of the biggest things, and you know, I've gone through a fair share of I think because I yearn for the deeper connection. It's not just the surface stuff anymore. So I think a lot of women are getting to that point where, you know, they want to have that deep connection with someone, and they're so frustrated with, I'm looking, like, I know I'm great, and you know, I still can't find anybody. And they're focused on that it like becomes their life, like with what I don't have, the lack of. So and I can honestly say that, you know, being divorced and also having experienced an over-the-top amazing love that I fell in love with someone, and it was the most beautiful experience ever, that because it flowed, because we were not looking for each other. It was a friendship, and it just developed because there was no guards. So when you have no guards around your heart, you don't fear anything. You don't. And somebody can connect with you. She's like, somebody can actually connect with you when, you know, when you're speaking, when you're spending that time together, when you go into a relationship with no guards and no fear of, am I going to get hurt? Is this going to happen? No, who cares? Just let it flow. Enjoy the moment. Be present. And I think what happens is, because you have your heart open and there's no expectations of anything, it, like, you connect. Like, it's like you almost like you throw an anchor into their heart and they throw one into yours, and there's a connection that is made that is so strong that you're like, oh my God, we didn't expect that. But it was a genuine openness, vulnerability. And that's a big one for me, is the vulnerability side of it, that you need to be able to go into things being vulnerable, open-hearted, And just having this knowing that there's no fear, go into it with love. Just go into it with love. No matter what happens to it, it's a blessing for you and you move forward. And I think that's going to be a big one for, you know, for everybody. So hopefully that works out. What do you think, Marisol?
Oh, man, that was a good one. That was a good one, because just like her, just like Nancy, that's experienced that type of connection with someone where it just flowed. I've been in that position as well. And, you know, to be able to really enjoy the moment and take it for what it's worth as long as it exists, it's just such a beautiful thing. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. But being able to acknowledge that that's what really makes you happy. You know what I mean? Pay attention to my tip, my thing that I would like to share with you guys, and, you know, one thing you could take from this is to really honor what makes you feel good. Like, sit there and really think about it. What really fulfills you? And if the treatment, you know, and that type of connection with someone, a genuine connection, you know, really just made you feel over the top amazing, then guess what? That's what's going to be, you know, the key to finding true love. You know what I mean? And another side note aside from that is just having the courage to be outspoken with your partner and have a conversation, a dialogue, not necessarily an argument, but just communicate about how you're feeling if things are a little off, and being able to approach each other. And, you know, that's just what seems to be the best type of scenario that I've ever found myself in, you know, when it comes to, you know, a relationship or dating. So passing the mic over to you, Esme, here you go.
Wow, thank you very much. I like that mic. I'm not sure if I'll give it back, to be honest with you. So, you know, the one thing that came to my mind was this. You know, I totally agree with that. You know, and both, you know, statements are amazing in that. I'm in a different spot right now, and where I'm still trying to what it is that I like. You know, I kind of put myself in the shoes of Julia Roberts in the show. It was called Runaway Bride. I don't know if you guys remember that part where, you know, she's asked what kind of eggs that she likes, and so she always goes with whatever the guy likes. So if the guy likes scrambled eggs, she likes scrambled eggs. If he likes poached eggs, she likes poached eggs. You know, and you know, her, you know, the gentleman, you know, that she's going to marry or whatever tells her, so what kind of eggs do you like? And she didn't know how to answer that. She was just like, oh, whatever you like. He's like, well, no, I know what I like. What do you like? And she was stuck. So as they start getting into this movie a little bit farther, you know, she actually sits down and she makes all these different kinds of eggs. So she makes scrambled eggs, she makes an omelet, she makes all these different types of eggs to try to identify which, you know, to genuinely answer that question, what kind of eggs she likes. And I think that's where I'm at. I'm still trying to figure out what kind of eggs I like. You know? So I think that to help anybody out, I think that it's just identifying with your true self and trying to figure out the things that you like. Because in a lot of cases, we've lost where we're at. We've lost what we used to like, you know, because we got comfortable, like T said, or you know, we're trying to you know, please everybody else, and that, you know, it's just trying to identify and trying to figure out what it is that who you are, and that's where I feel that you need to figure out who you are, what you like, before you involve somebody else. That's where I'm at.
Yup.
And soon I'll tell you guys how I like my eggs. Okay.
Hey, try all different types of eggs until you find what you like.
That's right, baby. I'm checking my eggs.
What about you, T?
Well, what I would like to leave with ladies, I guess, I don't know, I tell Jena all the time, I walk boldly in who I am. So I always tell ladies whose path I cross, I said, you know, you look at it as a bully, walk arrogant and walk cocky in it. I'm sure people may not like it, but walk arrogant and cocky in your self-love. I love myself. I love who I am. I love the size I am. I love my lips. I love my eye, because this is who God made me. So, you know, whether you're 5'4", 160 pounds, 5'2", 145 pounds, whatever, love all of that. And don't care about who loves it, because it's all about you. To me, you just have to have that it's all about me attitude, because I don't go to work every day wondering if someone's going to like what I have on, or does it fit right, or if Nancy will say that color doesn't go well with that. Who cares? I didn't get dressed for you this morning. So, you know, I tell ladies who I run across, walk arrogant, walk confident, because every
Nancy,
morning I
really?
get up, it's not about you. It's not about crossing your path. The only reason I'm crossing your path is to bless you. So what I put on, what I have on, how I have my hair, what type of mascara I got on, it's for me. I like it. I didn't have you in mind. So,
You're like, you're welcome. You're welcome. You can cross my path. Welcome.
I tell women that, and I'm gonna tell this quick story real quick. This job that I was on, and this Hispanic girl that I became real good friends with, and she was like, I guess Maria was like 5'3" or whatever, but it's like she had 2 babies, and like she had like fallen in a slump, and I'm like, girl, you are too young to be dressing like you, looking like Molly the maid. So I started telling her, you know, you need to do something. You need to put some makeup on. You need to put some mascara on. You need to show some cleavage. And actually, we have become having an affair, and we would laugh. I said, it's going to be so funny when he finds out the affair you're having is with a woman. And it's like, everybody at the job was like, you have just turned her life around, because I mean, she was like in maxi dresses and stuff. Honey, that girl is wearing mini skirts, showing cleavage, mascara. I'm like curling her hair. She's even colored it. So again, I say this is, I tell people tell ladies, walk arrogant and boldly in who you are. When you get up every morning and you start getting dressed, brushing your teeth, putting on your makeup, who are you doing that for? Are you doing it for you, or are you doing it to make sure that everybody in the office likes it? Who cares? I didn't have you in mind. You're not even part of the equation. So, you know, that's one thing I like to love to give to other women. Walk boldly in who you are. I mean, you might have been 30 pounds lighter 10 years ago. Okay, well, you're not now. But love all of that you're carrying. That's how you love yourself. You have to love where you are at every point in life, and stop putting other things and people in the equation. And that's my thing I would like to leave with, you know, with all the women, all the ladies.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So does anyone have any closing comments?
I think it's you, Jena.
I know. You're closing the circle. You opened it, and now you get to close it.
So, you know, sorry about all the glitching and cutting out. We're hopefully going to be able to fix that, but I'm just really excited to start this and see where it's going to go. I'm really excited for next month's show. Have some surprise guests for those of you who are interested in continuing watching our show. And also, since we're talking or going to end it, I really want to invite any of you women out there that are watching this broadcast at whatever time, because this is also going to be up on our YouTube channel. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Sisterhood Connections, and you'll get all the live broadcasts that are going to be shown, which we are going to right now be holding them the first Saturday of every month. But with that being said, we also have a Facebook group that we would love to have you come and join us, so we can get your soul fed. And really, I just want to thank everyone today for just joining and starting to see where this journey is going to take us. We love empowering women and loving women where they're at and sharing our stories, because there's always that one person that really just needs it. And so if everyone is, done with no more closing statements, we can, kind of close the circle, and sending love and peace and grace out to everyone watching. And since we're all joining from all over, LA, Idaho,
Yay!
yay! Thank you, ladies. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Bye.